I'm Sarah Baxley, and welcome to Pinkie the Bear, my mystics, metaphysics, and mindfulness channel. I'm here this week with your astrology forecast for the week of June 25th, 2018. So the two major themes of this week are, one, finding or striking a balance between that which emotionally nourishes us and our achievements and accomplishments, as well as retracing our steps. So those are the two major themes that I see this week, and I'm going to kind of break it down a little bit. So first, let's talk about finding a balance between that which emotionally nourishes us and our achievements and accomplishments. And the reason why that's one of the focuses this week is because of the Sun in Cancer and the full moon in Capricorn, with a conjunction with Saturn and then the Sun opposing Saturn. So first of all, at every full moon, the Sun is in one sign of the zodiac wheel and the moon is the opposite sign. The best way that I could correlate that, and probably just because of my artistic background, but it's very similar to color theory, complementary colors, right? Complementary colors are opposite one another on the color wheel. You put them next to each other and they enhance one another more than any other color, but you mush them up too much and it turns muddy. And the thing is with every full moon, it's like we have these two complementary colors happening, right? And each one demands a presence, and each one demands some type of balance. And this particular full moon, we have the energy of Cancer, and we have the energy of Capricorn. So I'm going to kind of break that down a little bit and why that signifies finding a balance, again, right, this full moon, between our emotions and our emotional selves, and that which gives us strength emotionally and security emotionally, as well as that provides structure, right, and achievement and accomplishment in our lives. So let's first start out with the two. So Cancer signifies almost like a mother figure, right? So the sign of Cancer, it's ruled by the moon. It's all about our emotions, our emotional selves, our roots, our family, our home. It's kind of the way that we feel safe and secure and loved and emotionally nourished, right? And emotionally supported. And, on the flip side, Capricorn is ruled by Saturn. So it's a lot about structure. It's a lot about our accomplishments, our achievements. It's a lot about putting in the work to get where we're going. Saturn is of the planets, it's the planet that's furthest out that we can still see with the naked eye, right? And, the ancients had noticed how slowly that it moved in the sky. It was one of the wandering stars, right? That's planet. It was one of the wandering stars that moved the absolute slowest. And so because of that, they designated Saturn as being father time, right? It's basically that which puts in the work, right? And, one of the things with Capricorn and with Saturn that I see is it's really about suit up and show up, right? And so it's kind of like you put your emotions aside and you do what needs to be done, and you kind of just keep trucking along, right? But it's also kind of that part of us that is very much, has more of an interest in our public selves, has more of an interest in where we're going with our career life, for example, or what our goals are, what our achievements are. But there's not a lot of emotion involved at all with that, right? It's almost like our responsibilities. Like we have to do our responsibilities and that's that. There's not any room for emotion. And on the flip side, there's Cancer that's a water sign that is all about what feels good, what makes us feel safe. And basically we're coming to this point right now, this week at the full moon on Wednesday, with Saturn also all up in the mix. And it's basically causing us to have to ask ourselves, have we, one of two things, right? People are going to fall into one of two categories. Either they've been pushing their emotions aside so much, right? Stuffing their emotions so much for the sake of career and ambition and you know, or accomplishments or whatever, that they've forgotten what even makes them feel good. They forgot why they're even doing what they're doing. Or people are going to be in another category where they've almost been following their emotions too much, that they haven't really allowed structure to manifest in their lives the way that they should, or that they should have. So it's going to kind of unfold for people in one of two ways, and it's going to be really apparent as of which group that you fall into as the week continues. And, you know, something that I kind of want to touch on that's interesting, that's almost like the marriage of the two, like almost like the complementary colors that's enhancing one another, is that, you know, even when we're striving for things, even when we're striving to have this achievement or this accomplishment or buy this house or make this much money or, you know, have this nice home or whatever, right? Or this particular job or career, you know, we have to stop and ask ourselves, the accomplishments, right? Why are we doing the accomplishments? We're doing it to get a particular feeling out of it, right? We're doing it to have the house so we feel a certain way. We're doing it to make a certain amount of money so that way we feel a certain way. So even though sometimes it seems like these two categories, our accomplishments and our career and our achievement and our structure and our responsibilities and our emotions and our roots and our family and our feelings, like it seems like these are two completely opposite things, and they are, but you have to also look to see how these things are connected, right? And where they meet in the middle. And so I think that there's going to be kind of this, you know, kind of like awareness that happens, right? There's always an awareness that happens with a full moon. It's like a culmination point, right? When the moon is fullest in the sky, it's almost like we have this illumination. We have this realization. And the realization this week is definitely about, are we sacrificing our emotional nourishment for the sake of our career, for the sake of our accomplishments? Or are we sacrificing our career and our accomplishments at the sake of our emotions, you know? And I think that's kind of the thing that's really important to look into and tie into these two things. Now, the second theme of this week is retracing our steps. And this is something that we're going to see not just this week, but this is actually a theme that starts this week that continues all through summer. It goes June 26th through August 27th, and this is Mars retrograde. So Mars retrograde happens about once every 2-ish years, okay? And it stations retrograde this week. And basically what that is from an astronomy perspective, it is when Mars appears to be going backwards in the sky, right? So when it's stationing, it's almost like when it kind of comes to a complete stop and switches directions. So it's not really going backwards in its orbit, but just from our perspective here on Earth, it is. So this happens about once every 2 years. And basically in astrology, what this symbolizes, anytime one of the planets are retrograde motion, it is a matter of revisiting, reviewing, rethinking, redoing, reworking, retracing our steps, any one of those things, right? And when we're working with the planet of Mars, we're talking about taking action, you know, the way that we go after what we want, you know, the way that we assert ourselves, all of those kinds of things. So, you know, so over the summer, you know, it's interesting that this stations happens literally the day before the moon is full. And so it's like this kind of station happens right as this kind of enlightenment at the full moon is also happening. And this theme of retracing our steps again starts this week, but it's going to go through the entire summer until August, the end of August. And basically, you know, we're kind of just being asked to see, not necessarily jumping in to things new, but kind of revisiting the way that we've been doing things, the way that we've been putting ourselves out there, the way that we've been working, you know, the way that we've been asserting ourselves, and kind of really reviewing that, right? Reviewing if there's changes that need to be made, reviewing if, you know, there's different approaches that we should take. And, you know, specifically I think for fire signs, and this particular Mars retrograde is in Aries, so I'm sorry, is in, oh my gosh, is in Aquarius. I was thinking about fire signs, but so I think we're going to see a lot of effects with, you know, fixed signs, but also with fire signs and with air signs. And the thing is because fire signs are definitely action oriented, right? I guess as are cardinal signs. So everybody's going to be affected. No, but basically, so Mars retrograde can feel sometimes kind of frustrating because we're wanting to plunge forward. We're wanting to move forward. But sometimes it's like, no, you can't quite do that yet because you need to kind of refocus on things. And sometimes the refocusing action or the retracing our steps action, sometimes it's something that we've been thinking about doing for a long time that's now finally taking fruition, right? So that could also be a manifestation. It's not necessarily that we're starting this new thing, because Mars retrograde is definitely like, don't do that. But sometimes this thing that we're retracing has been something that maybe might appear new, but really it's been in the works for a long time. So this is something that can manifest in a couple different ways, but yeah, just something that I want us to keep in mind for. So again, just kind of wrapping everything up, you know, there's obviously this balance that has to be made somehow with our emotions and our achievements, accomplishments, responsibilities, right? And so with that, in addition to the Mars retrograde us like retracing our steps, it's almost as if there's going to be kind of this turning point, right? Kind of with the emotional responsibility kind of polarity, and whatever that realization is for us, it's going to kind of, we're going to be retracing our steps and kind of finding ways to rework things over the next couple months. So anyway, so that's everything for this week. If you think someone else would enjoy this, then go ahead and hit the share button below. If you enjoyed it, then hit the like button and let me know. And if you want to see more videos like this, then you can hit the subscribe button, and there's like a little bell that's next to it, so it'll let you know when I post them. So anyway, have a great rest of your week, and I will see you soon. Thanks again. Cheers.